Hi, I'm Sally, and today at MECCAversity, we're focusing on the iconic NARS blush. I'm going to be showing you how to find your perfect shade, the tools you need to apply it, and sharing some of the techniques that I've learned working with NARS artists over the last 17 years. What I love about blush is that it really changes the mood of the makeup, and you can do that by going for a pink if you want to feel more romantic and feminine, or a peach if you want to look a little bit more summery. I like to say that you want to go for the colour that kind of speaks to you, but there are some little tips to remember when you're trying to pick something that looks natural. If you're a warm skin tone, you want to go for things like peaches, oranges, because they're actually going to help reflect that beautiful warmth in your skin. This also works for a neutral skin tone. If you're a cooler skin tone, you'll feel more comfortable wearing pinks and plums because that will mimic your natural flush. If your natural flush is more on the red side, you can actually counteract that by using more of a peach tone so that when your natural colour comes through, you've got this really beautiful mix of the two. And if those are too many options for you and you don't know what to pick, just go for Orgasm because it is a perfect mix of pink, peach and gold. If you're one of those people that refuses to wear blush, you only wear bronzer as a blush, you might want to step up to using something like a beige blush. A colour like this will add shape and it means you don't necessarily have to contour and highlight, but at least you've given your cheeks something. This is a great shade if you're just starting to get into blush. One of my favourite quotes from Francois NARS is that placement is almost more important than colour choice with blush. So if you're wanting to widen the face, you actually want to put your blush further out here, which will give you a nice lift. It's also more of a glam look. However, if you want to look more natural and give yourself a little bit more volume, you'd put your blush more to the centre of the face, which will give you a rounder appearance to the cheek, and it gives you more of a kind of youthful, feminine look. To get a nice even blend with a powder blush, you want to make sure you have a nice powdered base beforehand. You can do that with a translucent powder or a coloured setting powder if you want to. On Layla, I'm going to be showing you how to apply Exhibit A. For her, it's quite a natural colour. It's a beautiful warm red, but it will work on every skin tone. I've got the Yachio brush here. The beauty of the Yachio is that it'll blend the product for you. A good tip to remember is to actually keep the blush above the nostril line. So here, Layla has beautiful apples to her cheek, but I actually want to go kind of on top of it to give her lift. So going in with the tip of the brush, and I'm holding it quite far back, so it's going to give me a nice light touch. If I hold the brush closer, you're going to get a little bit more intensity. And on Layla's cheek, I'm going to look for the high point, which for me is here. So I'm going to place my brush right there, and I'm going to twirl, keeping the brush right on the tip and letting the bristles blend that. So I've got a good amount of Exhibit A on there. It's a beautiful matte finish. You can see how it's just blurred the skin really nicely. And I've kept it quite small, but I've also made sure that the edges are nice and blended using any excess that's on my brush. Another great NARS trick is to actually take your blush above the brow bone. So I'm just putting a little bit here and it gives you a nice harmonious look with your blush. What I love about NARS blushes is that they play really well with other products. The reason why I like to layer blushes, liquids or powders, is because you can get quite a different finish with the textures by doing this, and you'll get a little bit more longevity with your product as well. So applying Insatiable just to the high points of Layla's cheek, I'm going to blend out with my fingers. These are sheer and they're a gel consistency, so they work really nicely underneath anything, but they give you this really beautiful natural sheen to the skin because they're quite hydrating. They've got sodium hyaluronate in there. So it's going to make sure that your cheek looks nice and hydrated all day long, even with a matte blush on top. So the reason I'm applying it to Layla's nose is to give her a little bit of a sun-kissed finish, and then the blush we'll be doing, the powders will be a little bit more intense there, but this is going to give her just this nice, cute little lift to the face, and I think it makes you look like you've had a little bit of sun. I'm going to now go in with the matte of Dominant, and then on top I'm going to do the Orgasm X as a bit of a topper to blend everything out. I like to apply a matte before a shimmer because the matte will give you the intensity. It'll also help to kind of blur the skin. So going in with Dominant now, I'm going to actually put on quite a lot of this as well. I'm going to go quite high around the eye because I think that's going to look really beautiful on Layla's skin. I'm just going to go through the eye to create a more of a draping effect. I will take blush through the eye on any look, because I think it just makes it look a little less paint by numbers and ties the look together. And the way I'm getting into that socket area is I'm actually pinching the bristles of the brush to thin it out. And then I'm letting go to do the cheek again. So that is a healthy amount of Dominant, and the cream of Insatiable underneath has helped to kind of create this diffused edge already. So the other thing I like doing is blending colours and different tones. This one is a little bit more peachy, a bit warmer with that kind of gold fleck through it. Because of the shimmer in it, it will actually bounce light off the cheekbone, so you could skip doing a highlighter in this case.
So
So on Caitlin, I'll be showing you a great tip if you're not great at blending your blush yourself, and it's called bearing the blush. It's a classic NARS trick. What I'm going to do is apply Orgasm Edge. It's matte. You want to do this with a matte product. I'll be applying a good amount of it to Caitlin's cheek and keeping in with the rule of keeping it above the nostril line. So I'm going to aim around here. That's a beautiful pinky peach. So it's not perfectly blended, and that's okay. We're now going to go in with a powder and we're going to blur it all out. So I've got my tinted loose powder and I'm just going to go straight on top and blur out the edges and completely cover that blush that I've applied. This technique does all the hard work for you. This blush placement on Caitlin is a little bit more front on and it's a little bit lower than what I normally do, but it's changed the mood of the look quite a lot. So it kind of looks a little bit more youthful. I'm going to show you how you can pull it back after you've applied it if you're feeling like it's a little bit too low for your face shape. And you can do that by actually applying concealer to this area and blending out that lower portion of the blush. And so that's a little bit of Radiant Creamy Concealer, and you can see the difference in the two sides of the face, how lifted this one is. And this one is a beautiful look as well, it's just a little bit different, so it really depends on your feeling for that day. Remember, there really are endless ways to blush. Blush is one of the easiest ways to transform your makeup look. I love blush, it's changed my life, and I think it'll change yours too. To find your perfect NARS blush, head into our Mecca stores or jump online.